Hi, I'm Kate with The Productive Teacher, and today we're going to do spelling practice with the short sound spelled O-O. Here's how it works. I'm going to show you a picture and tell you a word. You're going to count the sounds in the word. Then we are going to spell each sound so that we have spelled the word. Let's get started. This picture is some books. Our word is book. How many sounds do you hear in the word book? There are 3 sounds in the word book. What is the first sound you hear in the word book? B. What letter makes the B sound? B. Nice job. What's the second sound you hear in the word book? B. That's our sound we're spelling. We know it has 2 O's. What's the next sound you hear in the word book? K. What letter makes the K sound? It is the letter K because it is following a vowel theme. Our next word is brook. A brook is like a creek. How many sounds do you hear in the word brook? There are 4 sounds in the word brook. What's the first sound you hear in the word brook? B, B. What letter makes the B sound? B. What is the second sound you hear in brook? Brr. What letter makes the sound? R. What's the next sound you hear in brook? Brr. What letters make that sound? O. What's the last sound you hear in the word brook? K. Following a vowel theme, we make the K sound with a K. Our next word is hook. How many sounds do you hear in the word hook? There are 3 sounds in the word hook. What is the first sound you hear in hook? What letter makes the H sound? The letter H. What's the next sound you hear in the word hook? What letters make the sound? O. Nice job. What's the last sound you hear in the word hook? K. Following a vowel theme, it's the letter K. Our next word is wood. Wood. How many sounds do you hear in the word wood? There are 3 sounds in the word wood. What is the first sound you hear in wood? W. What letter makes the W sound? W. What is the next sound you hear in wood? W. How do you spell the sound? O. And what's the last sound you hear in wood? What letter makes the D sound? The letter D. Our next word is foot. Foot. How many sounds do you hear in the word foot? There are 3 sounds in the word foot. What's the first sound you hear in foot? F. What letter makes the F sound? F. What's the next sound you hear in foot? F. What letters make the sound? O. And what's the last sound you hear in the word foot? T. What letter makes the T sound? The letter T. Our next word is cook. Cook. These kids are cooking. How many sounds do you hear in the word cook? There are 3 sounds in the word cook. What's the first sound you hear in the word cook? K. There are several different ways to spell the K sound, but in this case, we spell it with the letter C. What is the second sound you hear in the word cook? K. What letters make the sound? O. And what's the last sound you hear in the word cook? K. It follows a vowel theme, so we know it's the letter K making the K sound. Our next word is cookie. Cookie. How many sounds do you hear in the word cookie? There are 4 sounds in the word cookie. We already know how to spell cook. Let's spell that. And now we just have to worry about the last sound in the word cookie. Cookie. E. It's that long E sound. Now we could use the letter Y to spell it, or we use the letters I-E. And in cookie, that's how we make the long E sound, with the letters I-E. Our next word is football. Football. How many sounds do you hear in the word football? There are 6 sounds in the word football. What is the first sound you hear in football? F. What letter makes the f sound? F. What's the next sound you hear in football? What letters make the sound? O. What's the next sound you hear in football? Foot. What letter makes the t sound? The letter T. What's the next sound you hear? Foot. What letter makes the b sound? B. What's the next sound you hear in football? Foot. Ah. Ah is a sound that the letter A can make when it comes before L. So it doesn't sound like a short A, but we put an A right here, and then we know L comes next, but we have to double that L because of the floss rule. So we have football. This is how you spell football. Our next word is woodshed. Woodshed. See, they're putting all of their wood in that shed. We call it a woodshed. How many sounds do you hear in the word woodshed? There are 6 sounds in the word woodshed. What is the first sound you hear in woodshed? What letter makes the w sound? W. What's the next sound you hear? What letters make the sound? O. What's the next sound you hear? Wood. What letter makes the d sound? D. Good. What's the next sound you hear? Wood. Sh. What letters make the sh sound? SH. What's the next sound you hear? Wood. Short E. We spell it with an E. Woodshed. What's the last sound? D. And what letter makes the d sound? The letter D. This is how you spell woodshed. Our next word is hood. Hood. See how his sweatshirt has a hood on it? How many sounds do you hear in the word hood? There are 3 sounds in the word hood. What's the first sound you hear in hood? What letter makes the sound? H. What's the next sound you hear in the word hood? What letters make the sound? O. And what's the last sound you hear in the word hood? D. What letter makes the d sound? The letter D. Nice job. Our next picture is a boy standing. Our word is stood. Stood. How many sounds do you hear in the word stood? There are 4 sounds in the word stood. What is the first sound you hear in the word stood? S. What letter makes the s sound? The letter S. What's the next sound you hear in stood? St. What letter makes the t sound? The letter T. What's the next sound you hear? What letters make the sound? O. What's the last sound you hear in the word stood? What letter makes the d sound? The letter D. Nice job. Our next picture is of a cozy reading nook. Our word is nook. How many sounds do you hear in the word nook? There are 3 sounds in the word nook. What's the first sound you hear in nook? N. What letter makes the n sound? The letter N. What's the next sound you hear? N. What letters make the sound? O. And what's the last sound in the word nook? Nook. What letter makes the k sound? Follows a vowel team. It's the letter K. Our last word for today is crooked. Crooked. This fence has pieces that are crooked. How many sounds do you hear in the word crooked? There are 6 sounds in the word crooked. What's the first sound you hear? K. There are a few different ways to make the k sound. In this case, it's the letter C because my next sound is a consonant sound. What letter makes the sound? R. What's the next sound you hear in crooked? What letters make the sound? O. What's the next sound you hear in crooked? Crook. What letter makes the k sound after a vowel team? K. What's the next sound you hear? Crook. I hear a short E. We spell that with The letter E. And what's the last sound you hear in crooked? D, d. What letter makes the D sound? The letter D. Nice job. Thank you for spelling with me today. I will see you next time.